Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City Premier League owners. You either love them or you hate them. This information I'm about to give you has come from Ace Odds, a publication that has released a league table that contains all the Premier League owners from top to bottom, the most hated, most hated, all the way to the most loved Premier League owners. And I don't think it's a surprise to find Manchester City owners Sheikh Mansour at the peak of another league table. Top of tables is just a very familiar sight for Manchester City fans, and the rest of the English football pyramid are getting used to seeing City at the top of the table, and we are top of this table as well. The Glazers. No surprise again to find them right at the bottom of their league table. The Premier League owner, loved and hated league table is out, thanks to Ace Odds. And this was calculated by, the world's gone mental. It was calculated by a piece of AI software. Why we're developing AI software to measure who hates who and who loves who, all done on Twitter, of course, that cesspool that is Twitter, where the sentiments and positive sentiments and negative sentiments were measured using this AI software, all within the time span of the summer transfer window, the start of it, all the way till the end of the summer transfer window, which has calculated who hated who the most, from positive sentiments to negative sentiments. At the start of the summer transfer window, 85% of United's tweets regarding the Glazers were hateful. That rose to 95%. 95% of tweets regarding the Glazers were negative tweets. Whereas City find themselves, they started the summer transfer window at 80% and they ended the summer transfer window at 80%. Just behind them were Brighton's Tony Bloom, very good ownership model, working wonders at Brighton right now, working absolute magic with that club. The biggest swing was Sheffield United and Bournemouth, who went from, I think it was a very decent percentage to a very hateful percentage because of their transfer activity. But let's stick with top to bottom. But just quickly, a moment of silence or a moment of respect for the hard work that poor little AI robot guys got to put in, the software that was developed to monitor such almost meaningless, really, isn't it? Almost meaningless statistics. But the poor little guys got to listen over and over again to, oh my God, not another green and gold until we're sold. Tweet, kill me now. You know, poor little guy. But it's no shame, really, to see City fans and championing their ownership model. I know a lot of United fans like to throw them the idea that it was just all of our success is founded on money. And there's some element of truth to that, because without the cash that we're able to spend, we probably wouldn't be as successful. Almost definitely wouldn't be as successful, but neither would they when they were spending the money. Yet here they are, bitching and moaning, all 20 of them, outside the Man United shop mega store with the little green and gold scarves, so like green and gold until we're sold. Embarrassing, really, the amount that turned up. There were some shitty little protests that achieved absolutely nothing. Then, of course, you've got the United fans who stormed the pitch, the Old Trafford pitch, getting ripped, all the grass being torn up, goalposts being torn out, idiots who can't do 10 kick-ups, bringing a football onto the pitch and trying kick-ups, embarrassing the club, destroying the stadium, and preventing the team from playing the next football match, getting it postponed at least, which is just an embarrassment. You insignificant, irrelevant nobodies. You aren't even a blip on the Glazers' radar. You are nobody to them. If anything, all you've done over the past decade is lined their pockets, yet without supporting the team in the process. They weren't bitching and moaning when Alex Ferguson, people argue that Alex Ferguson was masking over the papering over the cracks for Man United and getting rid of the idea that the Glazers are the problem, and he was hiding the problem. And now that it's brought into to light, Fergie leaves and the team crumbles, the club crumbles, quite literally Old Trafford is crumbling. It's an embarrassing time to be a Man United fan. Arsenal fans, same for them. They were, how many times did they boycott the Emirates? Arsene Wenger out. I mean, the sense of entitlement from those two clubs in particular is astounding. It really is. The level of entitlement is through the fucking roof. It really is an embarrassment right now to be either one of those clubs. Looking back at the previous 5 or 6 years of Arsenal fans with Stan Kroenke protests against us as well. We rocked up to the Emirates, playing against Arsenal with, about 15, 20,000 fans there. Yet the Arsenal released the figures to say that it was sold out, but they were boycotting the game, and Arsenal released information that it was because of the cold weather, that yet the away end is full of packed, full, sold out Manchester City fans who travelled all the way from Manchester to the Emirates. They managed to make it there in the cold weather, yet 40,000 missing Arsenal fans who didn't bother turning up because they want Stan Kroenke out or Arsene Wenger out, whatever it may be. Stan Kroenke's still there. Stan Kroenke's still there right now. He employed Mikel Arteta, and yet all the Arsenal fans, silence. Can't hear a word. Can't hear a word from them all of a sudden. Get behind the team. That's what they should do. You look at Manchester City as an example, because we've had some stinkers. We have had some stinkers over the years, even before my time, going back to Peter Swales, from 1974 all the way to 1994. He was good intentions. He spent a bit of money, but incredibly poor decisions, periodically as well. It got worse and worse and worse, all the way to 1994 until it was just a disaster. And it was the start of Manchester City's decline. In steps Franny Lee. I went to school with his two lads, his two sons. Good lads. They were all right. Franny Lee, nice bloke. He took over in 1995 and came out with the quote, "I'm going to make Manchester City the happiest club in the world, and we're going to be drinking champagne left, right and centre." Yet in 1996, he employs Alan Ball, a lovely bloke, a very nice bloke, a very good footballer as well. But he couldn't manage a fart in a crap factory. One of the shittest managers we've ever had got us relegated and relegated again, and we find ourselves in League One. You follow that on. During our time during League One, we're down there in the dirt, in the gutters. David Bernstein takes over. Yeah, good, very good manager. Chairman rather. He gets us back into the big time with Joe Royle and then eventually Kevin Keegan as well. Good times to be a Manchester City fan, clawing our way back up the English pyramid. All the while, and then eventually we had another stinker in the Premier League. Taskin Sinawatra comes in with his barn pot lunacy, spending money on nomads like Joe. Like, who the hell was that? And why did we sign him? He was absolutely shite. Got his assets frozen and selling Vedran Chorluka and Stephen Ireland behind Mark Hughes' back without Mark Hughes even knowing about it. That was a disastrous ownership model. But did we boycott? In all of those owners I just gave you, did we boycott? Did we disappear into nothingness and just give up on the team? Just forget the team. Doesn't matter. I'm not turning up because we're not winning trophies anymore. No, we rocked up in our numbers, down in League One, losing 2-1 to the likes of York City. I was there, as were 28,000 City fans at Main Road, filling out Main Road, breaking attendance records for League One. At the time, I think it's Sunderland who've broken that record now. Good set of fans, Sunderland. They're down there in the dirt right now and still supporting the club. We were there when we were shit. There is no two ways about it. We were there when we were shit. In the gutters, in the filth of and playing our way to Mactown. We've done it. We've done it. So when you say there is no two ways about it that City deserve this journey, I can't think of a football club that can match our journey. A set of football fans that can claim to have been as low as we were, and then to have clawed our way back, legitimately get back into the Premier League. And albeit we were mid-table Premier League team when we got taken over, who cares? Who cares? We got back up. We got back up in that Premier League table. We got there without an influx of cash. Granted, we went from mid-table to treble winners in that time, thanks to the cash of Sheikh Mansour. But we deserve it. We absolutely deserve it. Do you know what United fans deserve? Absolutely fuck all, because they've been spoiled rotten for 2 decades. 2 decades Manchester United fans have been spoiled. And yet here they are, finishing 4th and still getting European football, and they're bitching and moaning. Because they get Premier League football, Champions League football they played last night against Bayern Munich. Here they are bitching and moaning. Oh, get them out, green and gold, until we're sold. Because of the entitlement. That's why. Because they believe they're the best club in the world. The game's full of eras. And right now, your era is finished. You're over. You're dead. The club's finished. City have taken your place. And that's why they're turning up. I say numbers. I was about to say turning up in their numbers. But really, a couple hundred at best. The protests weren't plentiful. Really wasn't that loud, and insignificant in comparison to the Glazers' awareness of you. You're nobodies. You're absolutely nobodies. Yet City, they rocked up in their numbers, and United fans, they do not deserve it. Arsenal fans who've gone quiet on the whole situation do not deserve it. And now you look at the fact that the next decade is potentially going to be dominated by Manchester City, as was the previous decade. Let's say, for example, the average person lives till they're 80. Okay, we got taken over in 2008. 2011, we win our first FA Cup. Well, our first trophy for over 40 years. And then next year, we win the Premier League. After that, more trophies start to follow. So you end up looking at it, it's been a decade. A decade of pure, more than a decade now, just over a decade of pure domination from Manchester City. So if you're living till 80 years old, that's an eighth of your life has been watching Manchester City dominate. And we ain't finished. We are not finished yet. And the fans deserve every single second of this success because they were there in the dirt. I was there in the dirt, following this club, supporting this club loyally. And now we're getting all of everything that we deserve. Everything that we deserve. And it comes round swings and roundabouts. And right now, the United fans are embarrassing themselves doing this, not even a protest, is it? It's a pathetic protest. It really is. But it just goes to show that this is an incredible time to be a Manchester City fan. It really is an incredible time, and it isn't finished. So we talk about an eighth of your life, could end up being a quarter of your life watching Manchester City dominate if Pep decides to stick around. Make it half of your life, imagine that. And all of a sudden, your history becomes insignificant to our history because we're writing history right now. Blues, get your comments in below. I want to hear them. United fans, I really want to hear yours. Arsenal fans, I'd love to hear it as well. Stan Kroenke out. Yeah, that lasted long, didn't it? Blues, get your comments in below. Like and subscribe. Typical City is the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is typical.